Okay, dear friends, I'm back. Today, I'd like to take a look at the room or the machine of the Shenron, which is the third machine of the Shenron series on the Vulnhub. I will add the link into the description below so that you can download it and try it. You know, this room, based on my experience, this machine is not so difficult, but for me, I want to showcase the whole or the entire process on how to do this sort of a penetration. And before we begin today's video, if you don't mind, please subscribe to my channel and leave a like below. I appreciate your help and support. So now, without further ado, let's just get started. To save time, I have already imported the virtual machine into the virtual box. So now we can go inside the Linux VM. As you can see over here, I have already identified the IP address of the target as 254. Then I did the Nmap scanning with options like a sync scan, the version scan, the default script scan, and also the comprehensive scan by the option of -P-, and also the output the result into the Nmap's full scan. So from the Nmap scanning result, as you can see, there is just only one open port on the target. The one port number is 80, which is running HTTP service, and also the actual version information. And also from the Nmap scanning, we can know that the target is running WordPress and also the version information. Of course, we need to check whether this WordPress has vulnerability, the version. But anyway, nothing special there, the core. So I think now what we are going to do next is to do some enumeration for the 80 port number, both manually and by using some sort of tools like Ligito or GoBuster. So now let's open up our browser of Firefox and let's put the IP address of a target. Let's refresh the page in. Okay, we got the returned page. Yeah, I think it looks like this does runs the WordPress. So of course we can also check the source code to see whether we can find some useful hidden message like comments, but nothing there. And also we need to check whether the site or the target has robots file, not found. And the next thing we are going to do next is to use Ligito. You know, Ligito is one of my favorite tools when I do the web application enumeration. You know, in many cases, this not only can give us the vulnerabilities and also some misconfigurations or some common files or common directories which we can utilize to make exploitation. Anyway, in this case, the Ligito, because we have already know that the target is running WordPress, so the default WordPress installations like WordPress login, WordPress links, OPML are there. So now we can use the GoBuster to do some furthermore enumeration. But again, because besides the normal or standard WordPress installations, we cannot get any more directories or files. To save time of the video, I'd like to quit the process of directory enumeration. So I'd like to use the Control and the C to quit or interrupt this process. Okay, so now what we are going to do next is to use the to WordPress scan. You know, the WordPress scan too. Maybe I firstly complete this command. And the IP address. And the option is UE. And UNP. U means username and plugin. P stands for plugins. Yeah, we got the username. And then what we are going to do next is to crack the password for this user admin. You know, the WordPress scan, WP scan tool is a very powerful enumeration tool when the target is running WordPress. Not only it can enumerate usernames, but also in many cases, this tool can enumerate plugins, including vulnerable plugins. For me, the step would be like, first I'd like to enumerate possible username and plugins. And if we cannot get any result, and then maybe we can turn over to see whether we can find out the vulnerable plugins by the options of the plugin detection. I think I have already demonstrated this technique in the other videos, so please check out my other videos. You know, I have already done so many videos about the hands-on practice with the machines from the like Hack the Box, like Try Hack Me, like Vulnhub. So please do check it out. Anyway, without out of the way, come back to our WordPress scan. It's now being cracking the password for the user admin. And we wait for this to be finished to see whether we can extract or retrieve the password for this user admin. And then after we can get the combinations of username and the password, then we can log into the WordPress administrator's portal. So just wait a moment. I think this will not take a very long time at all. Maybe I can pause the video, and when it's finished, I will come back. So see you there. Okay, I'm back. As you can see, the valid compilations are found. So we can copy the password, and maybe we can make a note of this information onto our notebook in case we need such information in the future or later. Then we can log into the WordPress administrator portal. Of course, this is a very standard procedure, and we can paste the password here and log in. As you can see, we have already successfully logged in as the admin. And so I think for the WordPress, I have already demonstrated this technique very much in the other videos. So if we are administrator, of course, we have already know that, because from the user section, we can confirm the user admin is administrator. Yeah, this role is administrator. And now what we are going to do next is to upload the PHP reverse file or code onto the target. And there are different ways to achieve that. The first way, or the most preferable way for me, is to navigate to Appearance and the Editor section and go to the 404 template. And I'd like to remove all code, and then I have already prepared the reverse shell PHP file, and also I changed the IP address to my Kali Linux, And as usual, I'd like to change port number to my favorite number. So we can make a copy of the entire PHP code. I mean the PHP reverse. And we can make a copy. Now can go back to our browser and paste in here. Then we can scroll down and click update file. Yeah, file edit. Edited successfully. Then we can set up the listener. And then we need to access this 504 PHP file. But maybe you'll be wondering, you will be asking yourself, where is the location of this file? It's so easy to find out. We can go back to the home page and click source code. And this should be the path, including the template name. Control C. And then we can paste in here and add the 404 PHP. Let's hit enter. As you can see, we got the reverse shell from the target. And the first thing, as soon as we got the reverse shell, is to modify this shell to be interactive one or bin bash. The way to do is use the Python, but we first need to know the version of the Python. Python 2 is not there, and then Python 3 import pty module, pty comma pty spawn bin bash. As you can see, we have already been in the normal shell, and then we can make very basic immersion. There is just only one user, and then we go inside, but we don't have permission to access this directory with the current user www data. That's okay. Then we need to furthermore immersion. For example, we can, as we have already know that the target is running the WordPress. Usually, we need to navigate into the www directory, and we can list the directory, and we can cat the config file. Because this configurations file of WordPress always contains the sensitive information like a password. So maybe the user Shenron reuse this password, right? We can check on that. And paste in here, but not correct at all. So, do you remember? We have already got another password. The password for the admin, for the WordPress. So maybe this user reuse this password, not the database collection password. So we can try that. Shenron, and make a copy. And we can now, as you can see, we have already become the Shenron, and we can make furthermore immersion. We got the user flag, and then the next objective for us is to elevate our privilege to root user. And the first thing we can check is sudo, and maybe the current user may run the sudo, but it's not in this case. So I think also we can check the find command. the file, redirect all error to the black hole or null on the machine. I think from the first command, actually we don't need to run this command, because in the home directory of this user Shenron, we can notice that there is file or command, the network has SUID bit. Anyway, I just show you the methodology, the normal methodology on how to do this sort of penetration. So I think we can run this command to see what it's about. Network. It looks like this network is running netstat. You know the netstat. The result would be very similar. So I think we can exploit this netstat. We can generate our own netstat command, and because the network binary will run or execute the netstat command, because the netstat command in this binary does not use absolute path, right? Maybe, possibly. So we can try that, and then we can navigate to temp directory, because the temp directory we have full permissions. We can create, we can modify anything within this directory, and we can create our own netstat command, and we can make it executable netstat. But before we can use that, we need to modify the path, the environmental variable. Okay, now we can run the Shenron network. As you can see from the banner, we have already become the root user, and then we can navigate to the root directory, and then we can cat the root flag. Okay, so that's it. That's pretty much it. We have already done all jobs with regard to the penetration. We got the reverse shell, we got the root flag, we got the root privilege. Okay, so although this machine is a bit easy, but just I mentioned at the very beginning, I'd like to showcase the whole or entire process of penetration. So okay, so I'd like to conclude this video. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.